Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome and please think about liking, commenting, and subscribing. And welcome back to all my other family members. Thank you for clicking on this video. You know how much it means to be able to share this content with you, and your likes, comments, and subscribes really do help us tiny little YouTubers, so thank you so much. I upload 2 times a week, Wednesdays, Fridays, and then every once in a while I will have a bonus Saturday. So today we are going to talk about Michael Jackson. Um, Pretty much everybody knows who Michael Jackson is. I'm not going to go into a great big details about the backstory of his life because it's everywhere. Michael Jackson was born in Gary, Indiana. He was part of the Jackson 5. He ended up having a solo career, became known as the King of Pop, and passed away in 1999. I believe he was 50, or at least in his 50s when he passed, leaving behind 3 small children and an empire and a lot of accusations and unanswered questions. So it's a strange thing because there is so much controversy around this figure. He definitely was not the person that he presented himself to be to the public. He presented himself as this caricature of himself, and that was well documented between friends of his that even said that his voice that he used in a public persona was like an octave of a child, not how he honestly spoke in his home on the phone to his children. So, in a way, he was very split. He really didn't, he never developed his own personality. And this is all coming just from being an empath. This is kind of what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to roll and see where I go because there's so much. I didn't even do a card pull before this. If I do one, I will do it with you here while I am just going live and going and seeing what happens, because trust me, I'm not going to remember what I say after this. So, Michael Jackson never really developed an independent personality. He was forced into a personality very young, and this is common of childhood performers, and they find a very, very difficult time as they grow up being able to identify as themselves because they have been placed in a certain box for so long. And Michael Jackson obviously was no stranger to this. He was placed in the box of being a part of the Jackson 5 and eventually being the Jackson 5. It was Michael Jackson and the rest of the Jackson 5, which obviously caused a lot of rift in the family, especially because he was one of the youngest children in the family to come and kind of take over. Um, Joe Jackson, his father, was extremely abusive, and that is very well documented. But I don't think what is well documented is, pause here a second, guys. Trigger warning, okay? I just thought about this. Trigger warning, we're going to talk about childhood abuse, rape, and sexual assault, plus any of the accusations that happened with Michael Jackson. So, guys, trigger warning right now. If you are not able to handle that stuff, that is perfectly fine. How about you pop off here, and I will see you guys in another video. But I don't want anybody to get upset about this because we're going to go wherever I go with this story, and I don't want anybody to be upset or triggered by this. So pause right here, guys. I love you. I will see you soon. Good vibes. I'll see you later. But for the rest of us, we're going to keep going. Okay, unpause. Joe Jackson was a molester, and so were his children, unfortunately. He taught them how to be this. This was he wasn't just an extremely abusive person physically and mentally, he also was a sexual abuser. And he would, it was his male children. He didn't really do anything to his female children that I can see. Now, that could be completely wrong. That could be just because I'm connecting to this type of energy right now. I don't know. But maybe I feel that some of the boys sacrificed themselves so the littler ones wouldn't get it as much. Um, I think the mom's name is Catherine. I can't remember, but Mama Jackson honestly was just as guilty because she knew what was going on and she stood by and let it happen. And eventually, at towards the end of Joe Jackson's life, she did end up leaving him, but it took all of that time to leave. Now, I understand to an extent in the beginning of this situation because they were a poor family and they didn't have the means to be able to just pull themselves up by the bootstraps and mama take all of her children and leave and be in a safe situation, especially when Joe had his claws in those children. He was going to make them famous no matter what it took, and it was really disgusting and sadistic the things that he did to get to his goals. Now, one can believe that if he was that manipulative and disgusting to his children, he probably was doing the same thing to his wife on a different level. It's just a speculation. All of this is speculation. Speculation. Supposedly, don't come after me. This is for entertainment purposes only. But yeah, I'm guessing just logically that I can't remember her name. I think it's Catherine, but Mama Jackson was just as big of a victim as the children, but she did choose to stay a lot longer than necessary. She could have gotten out at several points, but I wasn't there. Maybe she was in fear of her life. Maybe she was in fear of her children's lives, but to continue to subject them to that type of abuse day in and day out, literally disgusting. And I don't want to put myself in a position of trying to figure out what the best thing to do was, but I probably personally would have set Joe on fire and took my kids and ran. And especially when they started getting more powerful friends. But you know Joe had a way about him, extremely demanding, extremely uh large presence, and he made himself part of the Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson's world. And it really stunted not only Michael Jackson, but all of the children, because you are constantly with your abuser and you are constantly under the microscope of your abuser and you still have consequences. Now, what people don't think of is while these kids were on tour, you would assume that they would have chaperones and things like that. But, people are going to do what people are going to do. Um, I have a feeling, allegedly, supposedly, entertainment purposes only, that Michael's brothers also molested each other in him. And that's just a feeling that I have, but also I have heard some things about that, but you kind of repeat the patterns of things that happen in your life, especially when you are a confused, caged teenager. And um, I believe that some aggression was taken out on little Michael and the little children, um, which could have been why Michael was so gung ho about protecting children yet abusing them, supposedly. Um, you know, that's a long ways down the road here, but I honestly believe in my empathy that I have that it was a cycle of abuse from fathers to sons to sons to sons. And hopefully they didn't continue that with their own children. I don't think that they have, but it doesn't mean that they didn't continue it with other children. But the cycle of abuse is extremely hard to stop, and it's extremely difficult to correct if you don't have the proper help. And I am saying that every single one of the Jackson children were set up for failures, and each one of them tried to get out in their own right, and it backfired, or they just gave up, or they became abusers themselves. And there's articles and things about many of the Jackson boys being physically and verbally abusive to their spouses. So this isn't speculation. This is stuff that has been out there. That's where I'm going to end this particular video, because this has literally drained me doing this amount. So I'm going to come back and talk about the kids and talk about other rumors addressing those things. So I hope that you enjoyed this content today. Maybe I will actually pull cards next time. This will be a next week thing. I probably will be wearing the same outfit though, because I'm going to take a break and try this again because wow, this got really, really draining for me. So I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And before I go, if you like my top, because I feel really cute in it. I am a brand ambassador for DressLily.com. I will put a link in the description talking about Dress Lily and how to get you guys 17% off site-wide. I will leave a description down in the comments, and then I will also tell you about where I got my pretty jewelry. This is not a sponsor at all, and this isn't anything sponsored. This is just stuff I'm telling you about. But this is just a friend of mine who does jewelry, and I adore it, and I want to give her props and give her thumbs up and business if I can get her some business, because she's amazing and I love her stuff. I haven't worn earrings in like 10 years, so I'm excited about redoing the earrings in my life. So until next time, remember, every single day that you have is a gift. Use your time wisely, and I will see you later. Bye.